if you don't open your eyes and look too far around, like if you're not looking at the palm trees, the temples, like what looks like Thailand, you would think it's Miami or LA. Like there's a lot of elements to the layout and the stages and the fan experience that feels very like true to Rolling Loud brand.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is Eric. I'm all the way from Boston, USA, and I've been living here in Thailand for almost 6 years now. If you're new to the channel, if you're traveling here, if you're living here, hit the subscribe button. We've got so many cool shows coming up, and I don't want you to miss anything. If you want to listen to the audio-only version while you're driving or you're at work, I will link that down below. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you are interested in just short clips from the show, if you don't have time for the whole 1 hour long episodes, we have a One Night in Bangkok clips channel that you can check out as well. Lastly, if you're having a good time with us, if you want to support the channel, buy us a coffee down below. We're going to put so many amazing shows together. We're building a new set, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So we really appreciate your support. Tonight, we have a special guest all the way from Boston, my hometown. But before we get started, I wanted to mention that if you guys are traveling here and you're looking for a new apartment, a new condo, I am actually re-renting my very own condo here in Bangkok. It's right next to BTS Thong Lo in a prime location. I love the building. It's a super nice building. The only reason I'm moving is because a new opportunity came up with the podcast, and I unfortunately had to move and get out of my contract early in order to do that. So if you're coming here, if you're looking for a condo, if you're interested in this Thong Lo, Prampong, Ekamai area of Sukhumvit, and you want to check it out, I'll put my email down below. You can email me, and I'll send you all the photos and videos, and we can go take a look at it together. So just wanted to mention that. Tonight, I have one of my very good friends, someone that I've worked with for a long time now. This is Ali. Ali is one of the official photo video people for the Rolling Loud Music Festival that just happened here in Thailand. And Ali is actually from Boston, Massachusetts, just like me. So we're going to talk about Rolling Loud, all the behind the scenes stuff that you can divulge. We're going to talk about your first trip to Thailand, because this is your first trip, right?
It is.
And I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but your first Thailand experience was basically Pattaya. I don't know how much you know about Pattaya. Maybe you know a lot more now after this weekend. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about your experience here and everything about Rolling Loud. So, first thing is, when did we meet? 8 years ago? 10 years ago?
It was probably about 8 years ago. I think 2018 we met.
Okay, yeah. I got an email one day from Ali, and it basically said this. It was like, "Hi, my name is Ali. I'm about to drop out of college and pursue videography, and I was just wondering if you had any gigs that I could work." So something like that, along those lines.
Is that where I was at when I emailed
Oh yeah,
you?
yeah. I remember thinking like, what? Like. I think at that time, how much experience did you have when you emailed me? You had basically none.
There's like a side story to that. At the time I'd bought the camera, that to the time I left school was like a 4-month period, and I had not had one paid job yet.
Yeah, and I remember you bought a Panasonic camera.
I started with a Sony, and then I switched to Panasonic like 2 weeks before I met you, and you're like, if you want to work with me, you need to buy a Sony.
So she bought Panasonic, but everything I have is Sony. And I just thought, well, first I believed in the Sony system at that time, which everything here is shot on Sony. Sony's been killing it the last few years. But at that time, it was kind of new. So I said to her, like, I'll help you, but the condition is you have to sell your Panasonic stuff and get Sony stuff, because it's a lot easier to work together when you're on the same thing.
And I've continued to use Sony to this day.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I think we met at like, was it a Starbucks? I feel like it was like
Pavement Coffee House.
No. The first time we met, it was some kind of cafe or something. And you basically told me you're either you just dropped out of school or you're about to drop out of school and you're going to pursue this video thing. And do I have any job for you? So, and here we are 8 years later on the other side of the world.
Correct.
So, that's how we met. We shot a lot of weddings together. people are always wondering, like asking me about the podcast setup, like why it looks this way or why do I have so much equipment? It's because we filmed a few, maybe 100 weddings together.
A lot of weddings.
Yeah. So that's one big reason. So you went on to kind of pursue like concert photography and videography. So you've shot all kinds of things over in the US, right? Like what kind of festivals have you worked on?
Mostly EDM. I started in like the nightlife music scene. So that brought me into EDM first, led me to shoot mostly EDM festivals. And then 2021 was my first Rolling Loud. And that was my first taste of music outside of like nightclubs and DJs.
Yeah, because Rolling Loud is like a brand of festivals, right? So where is the original one? Is it California? Miami.
Don't quote me on that, but I think Miami is where it started.
Okay, but the ones in the US, are they still happening in Miami or are they?
Yes, there's a few locations. There's Miami, there's LA, there used to be New York.
Okay. And it's a hip hop festival. Oh, it's multiple ones in the US. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I initially was just shooting their US locations, and then they started to branch out in the past few years to a few different European and now Asian locations.
Yeah. A lot of people probably ask you like, oh, I want to get into photo for festivals. Like, how do you do that? I know it's a weird question, right?
It's a crazy question.
You just kind of do. You just do it.
And when they ask you, it's not usually like over a DM or like it's while you're in the middle of filming something, like you're pressing record and in the middle of a shot, and they'll be like tapping on your shoulder, asking you like, how do I shoot for this?
Oh, you're saying you're working and other people are asking you while you're working.
Yeah.
Oh. How did you get into it? Like, for example, Rolling Loud, how did you do that?
I sent an email. A friend of mine had sent me a DM or a story of one of the people who had initially been leading the media team, saying they were looking for one more person for New York. And I was considering myself local to New York. I could grab a quick train down. So I sent an email and they responded back saying they were interested in hiring me.
Okay. And I just remembered, didn't someone a while back help you with your like portfolio website? Who is that person that helped you make your first website?
I can credit a lot to the start of my business.
Oh,
to you.
To me.
Yeah.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Actually, Ali came all the way to Thailand just to say thank you.
Yeah. A personally delivered message.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's Rolling Loud in the US. So then last year was the first year Rolling Loud was in Thailand. In fact, a lot of festivals are coming to Thailand now. Like EDC is coming for the first time in January. Did you know that?
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, in Phuket. So I booked a hotel for it like 5 months ago. I'm hoping to go. So, but for the Thailand one, was it just assumed? Like, do they use the same people all the time, or did you have to ask about going?
They have. I mean, their media team back home in the U.S. is massive. I think there's sometimes like 50 of us. So,
50 on one festival?
Yeah, roughly. It's a pretty big media team.
How does it work? Are like people designated like, okay, your video, your photo, your drone?
Yeah. So and that's usually how it works with any festival that I'm hired out for. You'll usually, depending on the expansiveness of what they have in mind for the after movie, we'll have maybe a drone operator, VFX editor. They'll have an on-site after movie editor, and then different shooters, say covering artist, stage, fan experience, like all the bases are covered. And usually you have a pretty clear assignment going into it.
Yeah, events are hard because they're live and you can't redo stuff. So you have to think ahead of time. What do we want covered? How do we want to capture it? And then have those people in place ready to go. So I think some people think you like there's like two people with cameras walking around.
Yeah, no, it's not super run and gun like that, but also you're playing with live elements. So there's an element of surprise.
So you found out they were doing it in Thailand and you asked them?
They reached out to me, but because I'd already kind of been working with their team.
Okay. And did they, like, what info do they give you? Or did they just say, festival's going to be in Thailand, see you there?
Well, I think the funny thing about it is if you don't, like, open your eyes and look too far around, like, if you're not looking at the palm trees, the temples, like, what looks like Thailand, you would think it's Miami or LA. Like there's a lot of elements to the layout and the stages and the fan experience that feels very like true to Rolling Loud brand. So honestly, that was kind of the funny part of it. It's like you come all this way and like the energy's different, the people are different, but there's a lot of elements to the festival that stay the same.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But you had never, it's just funny to me because you had never even been to Thailand. So like logistically, when they told you where it was, which it's in, I don't know if it's technically in Pattaya, but it's in Chonburi province, maybe right outside Pattaya. I'm not
Pattaya
sure.
City is what
I don't know how close it is to
claimed
the main area. That's why.
it's not in the main city. No.
Yeah.
I would say it's a little outside of it.
It's just funny. And also that, that city has quite a reputation. I don't know if you figured that out yet, but.
It depends what the reputation is. I don't know what I do or don't know.
Well, did you hang out at all?
No, we stayed on the resort. We stayed at the Renaissance and we would just get, shuttled to and from the festival.
Oh, okay. Like Pattaya is like, to put it simply, it's basically the world's biggest red light district. I mean, the whole city is basically a red light district. At the same time, because I had this like bad impression of it. It is like just a cool beach town as well. So like you could go there with your boyfriend for a weekend and just hang out and have a good time and not deal with any of that stuff. But it's well known that a lot of people go there from all over the world for the extracurricular activities.
I did not know about that.
Before we started recording, don't ask why, but I was explaining to Allie what soapy massages are here. Not that I'm into that, but something came up that I was trying to explain to her. So, so I just think it's funny, your first Thailand experience, you're like, you land and then straight to Pattaya and you're like, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, honestly, it's not the way I typically like to travel because I do like to travel quite a bit. But the way I design it when I do it myself is a little different than, this experience I have doing it with a job. It's super catered. Like you fly in, the airport shuttle picks you up, brings you to the hotel, and then we get brought to the festival, back from the festival.
So you didn't have to figure too much out.
No, I mean, which is great when it's a job. Like
because
it's great
you told me you didn't even have baht. Like you didn't even have Thai baht until today.
No, and it did cause a problem a few times. Like ordering food and ordering like delivery food. It was a problem, but other than that, I haven't needed it.
So, and because we're filming this on a Monday. The festival is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the festival's over now. What was the best part or the highlight, do you think?
I would say, I mean, the sets, you like people go for the music. The fan experience is really cool. I think that's something really unique about Rolling Loud is they really prioritize the fan experience. So there's activations everywhere and brands that are super well known that I wouldn't think to associate with these really cool experiences, like Red Bull or Coke or stuff like that. You think you just go to a store and grab one, but they have full activations and photo ops and like everything designated towards the brand. And Red Bull had a breakdancing stage. Like it's cool to see how they implement these brands.
How many stages are there at this?
There's 2 at this festival.
Okay. Were you assigned, what was your job?
My job in this festival was fan experience, like in the VIP section. So if you get like an upgraded VIP ticket, they have all these kind of like separate experiences and a whole side of the stage is designated just a VIP. So I'm kind of capturing that.
Did you notice any like cultural difference between shooting Rolling Loud in like Miami and in Thailand?
The people are a lot more reserved. I have to say, I heard from people who have shot the Europe location festivals. I wasn't at that one. And I heard that everyone dresses super casually. And I kind of got that experience in general when I did Ultra Europe. People dress like they're just going to the park versus in the US, you're dressing full rave fit. You've got like people are half naked. Like they've got jewels, they've got face paint, they got everything. Here, I have to say the fashion was up to par. It was really cool fashion, but the people were a lot more reserved. And in the States, they want to get in your video and get in your face because they see the after movie. So they want to be in that and they like that spotlight. But here they just, they were a little more reserved. You had to get a little more energy out of them.
Okay. What are the differences between here, like as far as the show itself and in the US?
I'd say a lot of it is similar. The difference is the incorporation of like Thai and Asian based artists. Like they do bring in some local artists that I think are very popular here, which is really cool because I hadn't seen any of those before.
Okay. Because if we hadn't made it clear so far, it's a hip hop festival, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm not like such a big fan of live hip hop because it's just like, I feel like it's not as good as the recording. The recording, like a studio version of something. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure, yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
It's like a different thing, but I get people go for different reasons.
It's a lot about the energy. And
right.
Some artists will sing their whole set. Others are kind of just like bits and pieces, but that goes for pop and other music too. But yeah, it's totally like a hype energy type of experience more than it is
personally,
to hear them sing.
If I go to a concert and whoever's singing points the mic at the crowd, I get so angry because I'm like, I didn't pay all this money and show up here to hear like Sally sing your song. Like I came here to listen to you. Yeah.
You have to admit it's funny though when they bring people up on stage and kind of like get them to act out or perform for people.
I don't know about that.
It happens from time to time. Like, you know, they'll see a really engaged fan or someone who's going crazy and they'll bring them up.
So what you said you were doing the fan experience. That's like the part of the festival you were responsible for. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned like some activations, but they have like some barbershop thing or some. Yeah. We'll talk about those.
Yeah, so that's all in the VIP area. So I was capturing a bit of all of that. The main experience that I was covering, it's called Bunny's Bay Bar, and
Bunny's Bay Bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually really cool. It's this like hair and makeup and glitter, salon, and so people come to the festival and it's
only for girls.
Guys can get it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, but they'll put like those fake colored braids. They'll braid them into your hair, and they'll do like not rave, that's not a good word, but they'll do glitter makeup and jewels and gems and body art and all of that.
Okay. What would you say most of the crowd were foreigners or Thai people? Like what's the percentage breakdown, do you think?
I don't know. I honestly was spending my time in such a localized area that I didn't get a good scan of the whole crowd, but based on the content we were collecting, we were doing a lot of videos about where are you from? Where are you coming from? There are people coming from the States. There's people coming from Australia, all around Asia, probably a few people from Europe as well. I think that it opens up a huge market of people out here that if this is the closest festival to them, and it's easier to get here than the US.
Yeah, I think a lot of festivals are targeting Thailand now because it's kind of like a hub of Southeast Asia and Asia in general. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I don't know what's next. EDC is coming next. What's another one in the US that's Ultra?
Yeah.
So EDC got there first though. So I don't know. But we're going now we're going into like the cooler time of year. So Rolling Loud was November. Next month is a festival called Wonder Fruit, which is really popular here. I don't know what I would compare that to in the US. It's kind of like, I don't know.
What kind of music is it?
I think it's more of like Coachella, Burning Man kind of vibe. Some people are going to correct me in the comments, but it's like more like spiritual stuff plus music plus whatever. It's not like this is a hip hop festival. And then January is EDC, which, EDC is like one of the biggest EDM festival brands in the world, if not the biggest. So that will be interesting because that's in Phuket too, Phuket is an island. It's a big island, but it's not that big. So I'm interested to see like what that's going to turn out like. I thought the location for Rolling Loud was interesting because it's not too far from Bangkok. It's within 2 hours, but it is Pattaya. It's not like some scenic location necessarily like Phuket. But yeah, it's the logistics of the whole putting on an event like that are interesting to me because what I do in the US. Yeah, so I said we do nightlife stuff in the US, like events like that. I cannot imagine trying to do a festival like this as a foreigner in Thailand. It's just everything here, like business-wise, logistics-wise, is like 10 times harder than the US.
And luckily, I feel like I'm kind of at the end of that stick. Like there's all this planning and then I'm just capturing all the work that's
did
done.
you see any issues, like any problems come up?
No, I thought it ran really smoothly. I feel like there's like with a festival brand that I've worked with so many times at this point, like I know what to expect. So, yeah, there's not too many surprises.
Yeah. Is the area where it is it all open? Like there's no shade? Because I heard last year a lot of people were complaining because during the day there's just no shade whatsoever. Whereas a lot of other festivals in Thailand, they'll be in places with like a lot of trees and stuff.
Yeah, if you're comparing it to having like tree coverage, there is
What time did
shade.
it start?
3 p.m.
Oh yeah, so it's still hot.
Yeah.
And what time did it end?
Usually it ended about midnight, but most artists went over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think was the best?
Look,
I'm just your personal opinion.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not the one to speak on this because being that I shoot mostly EDM and I listen to like a mix of everything. I probably don't have the most educated
But you know
opinion.
how it is, like as someone that works on live events, you know, there are some people that maybe the music is great, but their live show sucks. And there's some people who you might be surprised about.
So I would say I appreciate artists that are actually singing a lot of their songs. And I think one of the more engaging sets, I liked Gunna. He was, I believe the third day, he was the second to closing act. I thought he did a really good job and the crowd energy was great.
I got him in my Spotify playlist.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's funny in the US, I never listened to hip hop before. Like I you know, here and there, but I wasn't really into it. But when I came to Thailand, I got really into it. And I wondered, like, that's weird. And I think it's because, you know, can you imagine me going to a hip hop club in Boston? Like I would stick out, like I wouldn't fit there.
I think the base of our friendship is that there's so little I know about your personal life. It's just work. So if you were to tell me you listen to hip hop, or you told me you listen to folk, or you listen to Arabic music, I wouldn't know.
It's weird when you come to a place like Thailand or Bangkok specifically that's so international. If I went to a hip hop club here, like it'd be totally normal. But I feel like in the US, it would be, I feel like I wouldn't really fit in.
I don't really know what the hip hop culture is in clubs here, but I know in the US, it definitely brings out like
imagine who goes to a hip hop club in the US, right? I'm not even saying just like skin color, but I'm saying just like background, like where you grew up and like that kind of thing, the cultural thing. Do I fit in with that?
Probably not.
No.
In Boston, it's a lot of college kids too.
Is it?
It's a younger crowd.
Okay.
From the like hip hop club nights I've worked, it's a pretty young crowd.
Okay. Yeah, but I just think that was an interesting thing when I came here as I got into it. And I noticed like especially Thai girls are really into hip hop here. And I wonder why, because like they have no idea what's being said in the lyrics. And even if you explain it to them, like even if they know the words, they don't understand what it means because culturally they don't have any real connection to that.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I feel like for a while I thought hip hop was super localized to Western culture. But the more that I hear about it, they love it everywhere. It's really popular.
Yeah. It's just funny to me how I don't know, I wonder what they like about it.
I think it's an energy thing.
Yeah,
because that's what I like.
It.
That's what I like because honestly, I'm not sitting in the car listening to hip hop, but if it's playing in social settings at a gym, in the background when people are hanging out, like I really like the vibe of it, but I wouldn't listen to it.
I like
the car by choice.
I like hip hop where the words have like a real story or something that you can think about. You're like, what?
Sure. Yeah. No, I follow that.
I'm just saying that the people here have no idea what's being said or like what the references are or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. I do enjoy it. I'm not very good at seeking out new underground hip hop music, but if someone hands me a playlist, I'll probably really vibe with it.
But EDM, that's like more of our thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know, maybe you should apply for the next festival that's going to be here and come back.
It was a long flight.
EDC. Oh yeah. Wait, and you're here for you flew all the way from the US for like 4 days.
Yeah. And I probably saw like outside of festival on hotel grounds for like all of 4 hours.
Why didn't you stay a little longer?
The timing's just not great. I'm gonna go home and it's the holidays and
Thanksgiving is this week, American
Yeah.
holiday. Yeah.
and I'm gonna be moving soon. So
Oh yeah, where are you moving?
to Los Angeles.
Finally.
See,
You know,
the people who know me know I've been saying that for a while.
Every year I'm trying to book Allie on different events and things, and she's like, "Oh, I can't commit right now. I'm gonna be moving to California." It's been like 3 years.
It's funny because you and another friend of ours that we do weddings with,
Bob.
yeah, I say the same thing. And I told him that last year, I told him that the year before, and he's like, "Can I reach out to you about weddings next year?" And I'm like, "You can try, but I promise you, this is the year." So yeah, it's finally happening.
Yeah, for all you people that want to get into like photo video, I think weddings are great because it's like the most money per time, I think.
That's what I've always heard. And I think the funny thing when I go to like the dentist or the doctor or I'm out like in normal non-creative daily life settings, people go, "What do you do for work?" And I say I'm a photographer, and they go, "Oh, so you shoot weddings?" And it's always this like weird in between of like, yeah, I technically do, but it's not my main thing.
Well, it's hard to build up enough work as like a freelancer to be able to support yourself. And weddings are like a really safe and easy way to like take care of a certain percentage of that.
But see, we're here talking about a music festival, and music festivals happen the same days of a week as a wedding. So that's what makes it hard for me to commit over a year in advance.
I think a lot of people, of course, and you would probably rather shoot a music festival, but it's hard for most people. I don't know about you now, but it's hard for most people to be able to get those kinds of gigs.
No, absolutely. And I think in the beginning, I was just being stubborn. I was like, I want to shoot music. I had my path in mind. So I like to travel, and I didn't know where I was going to be from day to day, month to month. So I didn't like the idea of committing to a job a year and a half in advance. But now at this point, I'll take on a couple of years of my own. And then as the months get closer, I'll take in some second shooter roles.
It's funny to me when you told me you're coming to Thailand, because I've been telling you for like 3 years, when you coming to Thailand, when you coming to Thailand. You're like, oh, maybe this year. And then the one thing that gets you to come here is a music festival. And then you stay here for 4 days and do nothing like fun outside of that.
Well, because I imagine that when I come, like I was okay with separating this is a job versus this is, and I know most people, they think, oh, while I'm already out there on a job, why not stay and travel? And a lot of friends who are touring say just that, like, oh, you're already moving around. Why would you not? But I'd like to think that I want to spend a good period of time here. Like 1 week wouldn't even be enough for me to hit the places I want to see. So I just figured I'd plan a second trip.
So tonight is Allie's one night in Bangkok. So where are we going to go? What kind of place do you want to go to?
I want to see the city line. So a rooftop.
The skyline.
Like the skyline.
Okay. Yeah. It's a Monday night. So the thing here is, though, it's kind of like New York City. Like you could go out any night and pretty much everything is open and there's people out. In fact, I don't even like to go out on the weekends because I think it gets too busy and stuff. I usually stay in. So I think I'm going to bring you to... You didn't eat yet, right?
No.
Yeah, you took the shuttle from Pattaya, went to your hotel. You took the... Oh,
the shuttle
hold on. So you took the shuttle from Pattaya with the Rolling Loud team to the airport, to Suvarnabhumi. You didn't know that's how you say that, did you?
I just know BKK.
Yeah. And then I told you to take the airport rail link, because if you guys haven't done the airport rail link, it's way faster than driving at most times of the day. How long did it actually take?
Probably no more than 20 minutes.
She was asking me like, oh, my Google Maps says it's going to take an hour.
An hour 20. I was actively on the train checking it because my phone was also at 5% and I needed like a backup plan if I got there and didn't know where to go. So I'm trying to look things up real fast. It was still saying an hour, 20 minutes while I was like 2 stops in.
Yeah, Airport Rail Link is in the basement of Suvarnabhumi, and it's like an express train that stops, a few stops throughout the city. One of them is near here. I think the next one is Asok. So pretty much if you're not traveling with like a ton of bags and stuff, And especially if it's like during the day, during rush hour, like you were coming in Monday at like 7 p.m. ish, around that time. I think it's way easier to take the airport rail link than try to get in a taxi and drive all the way downtown. It's awful.
Yeah, I love transportation like that. I didn't have enough time to research any of it myself, so that's why I was leaning on you to tell me.
Yeah, I just told you go here, then do this, then do this.
Yeah, and when I needed reference from people to help, I would just like hold it up. This, how do I get to this? And he goes stop 5, and
yeah,
that was my method of getting here.
Okay, cool. So I think tonight, so we'll definitely like get food on a rooftop, maybe above 11. Above 11 is like a fusion, like Peruvian and Japanese. I say that, but also when I go there, I just like the food. But what else do you feel like doing? Anything else tonight? Do you feel like a bar, a nightclub, hidden bar?
I'm pretty.
You have me at your disposal.
I'm pretty zoned out. We'll have to see.
Okay. Ladyboy bar. What is your thought on that? Coming from the U.S., coming from a very liberal city, Boston. What is your thought or experience with the whole Ladyboy thing here so far?
I have no experience. I can't say I have any experience with the Ladyboy thing. It's just a word that people throw around. That's my whole.
Well, if you were working at Bay's Beauty, whatever it is,
bunny, yeah,
but whatever it is, there must have been someone that walked in that you're like, oh.
I mean, mostly girls or girls and their boyfriends or like groups of people. That's a very like niche festival experience thing. It's like I said, it's like a word that's thrown around that I hear a lot.
Yeah. When I first came here, like I couldn't tell anybody apart. And what I realized is, the girls that dress like American girls, those are ladyboys. That was like my shortcut. Because I found that most Thai women dress more conservatively than the US. It's kind of the opposite of what you would think if you've never been to Thailand. Thailand is a pretty conservative country. And I found that most Thai women dress pretty conservatively. But the ones that are like dressed like super feminine, those, not everyone, but lean towards more maybe ladyboy territory.
That's a crazy generalization.
Yeah, it is. But they're very good at being feminine. Like they really like understand for the most part, like what it is to, look or be like a woman. So yeah. Did I get myself in enough trouble yet, guys? I can hear the keyboards pounding already. Okay, cool. I don't want to go too long. I just want to do like a quick episode with you about Rolling Loud and stuff. You asked me, did you ask me when I'm coming back to the US? Because the answer is hopefully never. I'd be very happy to just stay here and make everybody come out and visit me. So another person that we both know was just here in Thailand too, Angela. So she didn't come on here or anything. She was busy, but yeah.
Has she been on a podcast yet?
No, I'm afraid to put her on a little bit because she's too nice.
I was gonna say, does she know too much?
Oh no. Well, she definitely knows too much, but she's just too nice. See, you can take it, I think.
She's hands down one of the nicest people I've ever met.
So yeah, but we went to dinner with them. I don't know if I have any footage, but her and her boyfriend and Ern and me and someone else, we went to dinner at Pastel, and then we went to Baccarat, and we kind of went on a few places. When I get Ern back in here, we're gonna do a recap of like everything we did with them. We went on like a bar crawl.
You on a bar crawl?
Yeah. So we're gonna report back about everything that happened with that. So are there any secrets or like behind the scenes stuff you want to tell the world about me right now while you have a chance?
No.
When I told you I was going to Thailand, were you like, what?
This feels like forever ago. I don't remember, because there was a period of time we were seeing each other every single week. We would have a meeting and we would just talk business. And I remember you saying did you take a trip out here or did you just point blank
what
move?
happened was, I don't remember what year I met you. Do you remember what year it was?
It was 2018.
It was 2018.
Yeah. Depending if it was like December, January, it might have been end of 2017.
Okay. So 2017, I made my first trip to Thailand for a week. 2018, I made my second trip to Thailand for a week. And at the end of that trip, I was thinking like, oh, it would be cool to come back here for like a month and just kind of stay. Because even though I had visited, a lot of people visit Thailand, they don't spend much time in Bangkok. They just land, they go to the islands, they go to Chiang Mai, they go wherever, and they spend like one night in Bangkok or something like that, kind of like you, right? So I was in that same boat, but I thought it would be cool to come back here. And instead of going around and doing all the tourist things, just rent an Airbnb and hang out for a month like a local person, you know? So 2019, January 2019, I came here with the intention of coming for a month. And it actually ended up being 6 weeks, partly because I loved it here, partly because I adopted a cat and I had to
It's coming back to
yeah,
you.
I had to wait, because I met you and I must have been like, oh, I have a cat now.
Because it was this weird bridge between like, okay, I'm gonna take you on and teach you what I know, but you're gonna work my events for me, you're gonna work weddings for me, and then you're like, actually, I'm gonna go to Thailand for a month, and then I'm like, okay, so when are you coming back? And you're like, well, so I have this cat, and I think it needed to get vaccinated or something.
Yeah.
And I need to figure out how to get it home. And then slowly, I think the trip started getting longer.
Yeah,
I don't quite remember.
I came
from that
back
point
from
on.
that trip. I was here in Boston for 4 weeks, and then I turned around and went right back to Thailand. So.
And what turned you away?
It's just the first day I was back in Boston, it snowed, and I just remember thinking like, I don't know how I'm gonna get back there, but I have to get back there. It makes no sense. I have no connection to there. My whole life is here, in Boston, but when I came here, I was just, I don't know. It just like clicked in. People say like, I don't know if it's from The Hangover or I think it's from the Hangover movie. They say like, oh, Thailand has you now. It like pulls you in, and here I am now 6 years later, have a podcast.
6 years.
I was telling Ali,
wild.
because she doesn't even know what this is really. I just said, oh, come on this thing.
Yeah.
But
Little to no
I mentioned
intro.
like, oh, if we go out, maybe someone will recognize me. And you were like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird how things happen. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you'll end up in Thailand too. Not the worst place in the world, that's for sure.
Absolutely not.
All right, cool. So if you guys are in the US or anywhere in the world actually, and you are hosting EDM festival or concert or any kind of nightlife thing, and you want to hire somebody to shoot photo or video, I'm going to put Ali's info down below. You can check her out. If you guys want to find out what's happening in Bangkok, where to go out, what the best music festivals are that are coming to Thailand, hit the subscribe button. Check out the Clips channel. Check us out on Spotify. And we'll see you in the next one.